Good morning and welcome to Purpose-Driven Finances, where our focus is helping you use your finances to achieve the purpose and plan for your life. And now here's the host of Purpose-Driven Finances, Alan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning. This is Alan Molina, your host, Purpose-Driven Finances and President, Serwus Capital Management. How are you doing this glorious weekend? You know, it's a great day when it's not any snow on the ground. Sitting here with a great, fabulous co-host, Mary. How you doing?
I am doing great, Alan. Thank you so much for having me sit in today.
I'm thankful, that you're pinch hitting.
Yes,
and
I'm happy to do it.
Hopefully you'll be the pinch hitter from now on.
Well, I'm happy to do it.
It's a glorious thing.
It is a glorious thing. It's a glorious day.
It is a great day. Hopefully, I used to pretend or try to pretend that it was live, but I just couldn't keep up the facade. I just couldn't do it. I'm just not that smooth. Smooth operator from way back in the day.
Well, you are a smooth operator,
you're
but you wanted to acknowledge that it's a few hours late.
Yeah, so what I'm hoping is that I'm in Short Pump shopping today. That's what I'm hoping.
You're going to Short Pump.
Yeah.
You are in Short Pump.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
What are your favorites? I don't want to digress too much.
Oh, no, I don't mind. People realize that we're normal.
Yeah.
There's two places, and I can only remember the ad on the TV, the internet, and it's not appropriate.
Oh.
It's not that it's bad. It's just.
What kinds of stores are they? Give us a hint.
I have the pair of pants on. And
it's clothing. So you're clothes shopping. Okay.
Right. And I just can't remember, but I remember his ad. And
okay.
I just, people will be like, Alan, what are you saying? And then I want to go by the Chevy dealership.
Nice.
I'm hoping they'll be open. I want to get my wife, Pam, just get her to sit in one, prep her.
So she can buy it for you?
Yeah. In 2083, save it up. Pennies. Because then pennies, I could,
right.
buy it from pennies.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so, but that's what we're doing. But, folks, I'm excited about today. We are talking, we have two segments. The first segment is we're talking about your portfolio and what's happening. The second segment is we're going to try to spend most of our time there simply because, to me, it's the most exciting. And the second segment is going to be about Lynchburg City Schools and Lynchburg City retirement plans, talking about 403B, 457, the VRS, just exciting stuff. And remember that on our website, servuscm.com, you can go into the financial planning and the retirement section, and every quarter we will send out to you free, no obligation, I'm not going to hit you up with a marketing gimmick, but to help you manage your 403B, 457, 401k, and give you some advice there. So let's start with the first segment. Now, Mary, have you ever heard of AI?
AI?
Yeah.
Is it a steak sauce?
Right, it is. A1, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I have, unfortunately.
And you use it, don't you?
I do. I think it makes me less creative, but probably more efficient.
Well, it makes me cognitive because I'm a bad writer. Mm-hmm. I'm a bad writer. So what I use AI for is put my bullet points in there.
Yeah. And
please make me to where people can understand me.
I look at it as a very, very smart, fast employee.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling it what to do, and it does it for me very quickly, very well. But ultimately, I'm in charge.
Right.
I have to tell it.
Now, which one do you use, or which ones?
We use Gemini.
Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Just today is Saturday, in theory. So on Thursday, I decided to sit down after work, and I have actually subscription to the four majors,
mm-hmm.
and the four majors would be Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, and I just recently got Claude.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Chat. That's my main one, and I said, Chat, you're really good. You're really good at this. Gemini's good at that. Claude's good at that. Why can't we do a multi-agent system to where everybody does their own thing and work? And I expected Chat would be like, no, we need to all have it just in Chat. Chat agreed with me. And Chat has actually said, let's start working together with those to use their strengths to accomplish what I need to get done.
Is it really going to do that, though?
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out. And the reason I bring up all this AI stuff is there's some, and you know what I forgot to do. And so I hope you can multitask. Do you have a computer there?
I do.
Do you mind opening up chat or no, Gemini? You just pull up Gemini, and I'm going to give you a prompt in a minute. But I'm going to talk. What's happening is AI is compressing software companies. And if you were to look at a symbol, which I don't remember what it was, and I apologize, it doesn't matter. If you were to see software companies, they're down like 25, 30%. And the reason being is AI can write software, and companies are going, you know what? These software companies who think they're the big deal, they're getting compressed. And so what's happening is it's reducing labor costs. It reduces software licensing demand. It eliminates workflow layers. And companies are like, why do I need you? I'm going to use this. And so it's very, very interesting. Now, there's an area that has just started to affect areas in the stock market, and that's finance companies. Because are you on Twitter?
A little bit.
I don't know if I should.
X,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if you want to publicly. So I apologize if you don't.
No, I'm more. I read stuff on. I don't post a lot or anything, but I read what's going on.
But there's a lot of people, and they say, well, if you go to this particular AI and write this particular prompt, you can become a J.P. Morgan analyst.
Sure.
You know, with all of, or you can read the company documents in a flash and know what's going on, which is true. But here's what's happening in the finance arena with AI is your portfolio construction can be automated. Now you're like, Alan, this is a finance show. Why are you telling me this? The reason I'm telling you this is I'll explain it in a moment, is portfolio construction can be automated. Now, if you don't mind in your prompt, Mary.
Okay.
Say I am a 60% stock and 40% bond. Please pick the best mutual funds for me. Let's see what happens. And dun 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 dun.
Do I have to say please?
You don't have to say please. I am kind to my AI.
Pick the best mutual funds.
Right, for me. Let's see what happens. Now, folks, watch it not do anything.
It's going to say, it's thinking.
It's thinking.
A 60-40 portfolio is widely considered the gold standard for balancing growth and stability. Let's see. What's it picking for me? Oh, it's giving me Vanguard, Balanced Index, Vanguard Wellington, Fidelity Puritan Fund. Okay, yeah. So that's the set it and forget it option.
Right.
And then it gives me the build it yourself option, two funds. And then, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So check this out. Portfolio construction is automated. Now, if I gave you some really deeper, not even deeper. We're talking, let's scratch the surface a little bit more. We could get really in depth. Okay. So your portfolio construction can be automated. I'm not going to give you any more.
Okay.
But if you want me to, I can.
Wow.
Fund screening can be automated. You can say, I want the best large cap growth fund. Compliance can be automated. And what that means is compliance for the financial firm, but I'm not really talking about that for individuals. And your research can be automated. And so if you have an advisor that just picks mutual funds, that just rebalances quarterly, that follows a generic model, why are you paying them the 1% fee?
Right. Sounds like AI can already do that.
Exactly. And so what has to happen in my industry is financial advisors have to get educated about portfolio construction and have a process that differentiates themselves. But not only that, have you heard from coworkers, I'm not going to ask you specifically because that's too personal, from coworkers or from people, friends out in the world during 2007, 8, 9. I know you were really young then, but hopefully you remember. Or during COVID, when the markets were crashing and people were complaining about their portfolios. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And if you, I'm not, that's an unfair question because you're not in my industry. A lot of advisors just picked a plan and they said, just ride it out. Hang in there. What's the difference between that advisor and AI? Nothing. And so I'm not lobbing bombs or throwing stones at advisors who just do that. It sounds like I am. What I'm trying to do is get the general population educated to help them make better decisions. Because if you don't have a process to buy and sell, then when the proverbial crap hits the fan, Rich would say a different word. When the crap hits the fan, what are you going to do? Are you going to still be 60-40, or do you have a process to go from 60-40, the theoretical gold standard, to reduce your risk so you don't lose 20, 30, 40, 50% of your portfolio? And guess what? I have that process. We call it the QPM, the quantitative portfolio model. We have dynamic asset allocation and the triple P. And so, folks, yes, I'm here to. This show is to provide you information, but also to market. And I want you to know that there is a better way than just picking mutual funds that AI can do for you and helping you grow better and protect on the downside. And so, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a 30-second. I'm going to switch it up on Mary, just a 30-second.
Okay.
Because I want to have us to have a full 17 minutes to talk about Lynchburg City Schools. And if I run out of time, Mary's just going to ask me questions. And but folks, give me a call, 434-316-0246. I look forward to talking to you about your portfolio.
Hi everyone, Brian Kilmeade here. Coming up on the next edition of the Brian Kilmeade Show, we'll have the biggest newsmakers, news breakers, and take a deep dive into news you care about. Whether it's breaking news, entertainment, politics, or sports, even pop culture, I'll bring you the latest developments with expert analysis from the big names you know and love. Plus, you never know who may stop by. That's all coming up on the next edition of the Brian Kilmeade Show.
Weekday mornings from 9 to noon on WLNI. And now, back to Purpose-Driven Finances. Here's Alan Molina with Serwus Capital Management.
Hey, good morning again. Alan Molina, host of Purpose-Driven Finances, president of Serwus Capital Management. Just to remind you, if you're just joining us, this podcast, this radio show will be on the podcast, Purpose-Driven Finances, on just about all the places you can find a podcast. We're a little bit behind just because of the flu and things such as that. But it should be up and running middle of the week. Check it out on Apple, Purpose-Driven Finances, or anywhere. So Mary, we're talking about Lynchburg City Schools. We're talking about Lynchburg City retirement plans, 403B, 457, things such as that. But first, Mary, I want to say to these folks, thank you for being a civil servant. Because a lot of times, people who work in as a civil servant, besides the police, besides firefighters, they don't get the thanks, because who was the last time who thanked their city administrator, or the one taking care of the garbage or the signage, and so thank you for
it's
folks.
important. It's important work that they're doing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Normally we complain when it's not done and we don't care when it is.
That's right.
And that's backwards, So Mary, what I wanted to do is there's basically three types of employees in the Virginia retirement system. Let's start overreaching. And what the Virginia retirement system is, this covers everybody in Virginia that basically works for a municipality or school. Now, I'm not talking about a private school like LCA, Liberty Christian Academy. I'm talking about any public school, any municipality, and things such as that. And I'm going to give you some more advice about VRS a little bit later. So people don't understand there's 3 different kinds of employees in the VRS system. The first one is Plan 1. Now, Mary, this is where you and I would want to be. It's the pre-2010 hires. They have a huge pension. They have a traditional defined benefit structure and a lifetime monthly payout. I mean, they got it good.
Good stuff, yeah.
They got it good.
Mm-hmm. Well, and those are the ones that if they're thinking about retiring now, they have been with the system for a long time, so that they're being rewarded for that longevity.
Right, pre-2010.
Yep.
And so what ends up happening is a lot of times they can get a lump sum, a plop, what they'll call it.
A plop.
But also they can get that monthly benefit. And it's my suggestion is on that monthly benefit, we have 13 minutes, so we can talk about it. I'm going to tell you this story, Mary.
Okay.
I was sitting with this couple, sweet couple. He had worked many years, and he got a pension. And he was thinking about where his family was. They didn't have a tremendous amount of money, but they needed as much money as they could. And his wife got very low Social Security. She didn't have a pension, but that's all she had. And he had a Social Security. Well, he got the pension, and when you get a pension, I think there's basically 4 or 5 ways you can get it. Single life, that means for your life only, as long as you live. Single life with a period certain. You can get it with, and there's usually like a 10-year and a 20-year period certain. Mm-hmm. And what those period certain does is if you get a period certain 10 years and you die within those 10 years, it continues to your heir until that 10-year mark. Then the fourth one is a joint. The person getting the pension and your beneficiary or the beneficiary, normally your spouse. Well,
so you said the fourth.
There are 4. There's actually 4 kinds. There's the single life, period certain, usually 10 years. Sometimes there's a 15 or 20, and then there's the joint.
Or just the single, the payout.
Yeah.
Okay,
we could call that fifth. Yeah, if you want to just take all your money and run.
Okay.
My suggestion is some people like that, but I would suggest doing the pension because it's guaranteed for life, depending on which one you choose. Well, the family wasn't wealthy, and she called me, and he chose the period for his life only. No, I apologize. It was a period certain with 10 years. He died at 8 years. Well, his wife was like, it's 9 years. I have a year left. What's going to happen? Mm-hmm. And her life.
So, and it's not.
It's gone.
That would be it. After a year, it's
yeah.
done. Okay.
And so what happens is a lot of times people look at the biggest figure and say, I want that. But when you're looking at a pension, you need to really analyze. You want one life, period certain, 2 options usually. I would not suggest getting a lump sum unless you have a lot of money saved elsewhere, or a joint life. Mm-hmm. It is lower, but the biggest issue is normally people are married and they have a loved one. You don't want to leave them in a lurch.
So the lifetime monthly payout, that's what you
well, they're all monthly payouts. It's just I would do the 2 life monthly payout.
So that's you and
your spouse.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Because, so what, you get an extra $300. If you die, your spouse gets nothing unless it's for that period certain. Mm-hmm. No one wants to be there. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. We could talk about horror stories, but this, we need Tim Clinton to talk about that, not me. Not me. The second plan is between 2010 and 2013 hires. You can tell that they realized Plan 2 was not very good. They only did it for 3 years. It's a slightly reduced multiplier, but they included that they had to do mandatory employee contributions. Once again, when you retire, how are you going to take one of the 5 options? My suggestion is you and a spouse. because you have your retirement of your Social Security, then you have your guaranteed pension coming in. Because when you're in retirement, there's something to be said about guaranteed income, That being said, then there's the hybrid plan. That's everybody after 2014. Smaller defined benefit, a lot smaller. Mandatory defined contribution. And I believe there's a little bit of a match once you set it up, and it's at VRS. And the investment responsibility is no longer VRS. It shifts to the employee. So it's more of a traditional 403B, 401k, 457, things such as that. So it's a huge benefit. So my suggestion is generally I wouldn't take, sometimes you can get a plop plus your pension, but I wouldn't take your pension out, because what happens if you get a bad investment? It just, I prefer guaranteed income. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of financial advisors, I'm going to throw some stones now. Some financial advisors will advise you to take the whole payout because they'll suggest an annuity that they annuitize. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would much, unless it's head and shoulders above VRS, I call it. You ever heard the word sus, Mary?
Yeah, of course. Yes, I have children. Yes, I have heard sus. It's sus.
I would say that's kind of sus.
Well, I guess the way I look at it is, and my husband works for the city of Lynchburg, and he's going to be making these very choices very soon. One of these choices, but this is part of your retirement plan.
Right.
You've put your money in so that when you retire, you can get it out, or the city's put it in for you. So at some point you will get it. Mm-hmm. And if it seems like if you just take it and want to put it somewhere else again, then that's defeating the whole purpose. You should just start receiving it.
Right. That would, of course, everybody is unique, and I would do financial planning around it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I would be leery of a financial advisor who said, "Hey, take the money, roll it over to an IRA, and let's convert it into another annuity." Because then what you end up having is that's my calendar saying, "Hey, wake up." What ends up happening is then you take on the risk of that one company. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I would much rather have the risk of the VRS as opposed to the company. Now, there's some advisors, if you don't agree with me, you know where to call me, 434-316-0246. I'm willing to sit down and hear why you want to have your clients get an annuity. Let's talk. I'm more than willing. So, Mary, have you ever heard of a 457?
I have not.
Okay. It's interesting that a municipality is allowed to have a 457. It's basically like a government 401k. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is, like in the school system, you can get a 403B and a 457. And you're like, well, that's a lot. I have clients. I'm a full disclosure. I am one of the retirement plans for Lynchburg City Schools. Mm-hmm. Full disclosure. I think there's 5 or 6 others. And this is not meant to get more. Of course, I want more clients. I'm not talking about them directly or mine directly. I'm just full disclosure. But I have clients who actually, this man called me, and he says, Alan, I'm picking yours. I'm going to take my entire wife's salary and put it into 403B, and anything excess, she's going to put it into 457, entire salary, because they didn't need it. He was having a high-paying job as an engineer. And you say, well, is that really allowed? Check this out. With a 403B, Mary, you can do $23,000 max into a 403B. If you're age 50, you can do a catch-up of $7,500. But then, if you're under 50, you can do $23,000 into both. If you're over 50, it's basically $30,500 into both. You can contribute $61,000. And you're like, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But in some instances, you can really put away more money because you can't do it with a 401k. You can barely get up to $61,000 with an individual 401k or a SEP, or if some 401ks are packaged through a private letter ruling. But getting up to 61,000 is hard. Now, I know most people can't do that. Mm-hmm. But if one of the spouses, is making $200,000 as a frugal engineer, they don't need that other amount. It's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a great Can everybody do it? No. Now,
but you definitely recommend that, contributing to both.
If you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you can max out one and go the other. Mm-hmm. Because one thing, now the next section is what to look for in a quality 403B or 457. Now, the reason I say what to look for is because Lynchburg City has 5 or 6. And I didn't position these according to what the way this Roos Capital Management Plan is. I didn't position it accordingly. What I did is I asked AI because I wanted a third party to give me these, 5 things. And so these are 5 things from ChatGPT because I didn't want to, look like I was trying to put my thumb on the scale. First is transparent expense ratios. What happens a lot of times with 403Bs, Mary, or 457s, is they will be wrapped in insurance products. And they'll be very expensive. And what ends up happening is your returns are a whole lot less. Or you'll see this mutual fund and you do the research through AI and it says this mutual fund is 0.75 expense ratio. But you look at yours and yours is 1.75. You're like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And the reason being is when you have a product such as with a 403B, a lot of times the expense ratios are very high. So if you're comparing those 5 or 6, look at the expense ratios of the funds or of the total of the cost. Number 2 is, let me ask you, Mary, you're going to invest some money and you're going to go on a vacation, your dream trip around the world on a private 100-foot yacht. It's just going to be amazing. It's going to be just audacious.
Yes.
It's just one of those things. And you've been saving, you and your husband have been saving, and it's going to be in 5 years. But I said, and a finance advisor went to you and said, listen, I'm going to get you this annuity. It's 6 years, but we can get it out early, but we pay a penalty. Are you going to like that? Mm-mm. Because of that penalty.
Right.
And the surrender period.
Right.
That's the problem with some 403Bs is you buy the 403B in the retirement plan and there's a surrender charge. I don't like surrender charges. I don't like to have my money locked up. I don't want my clients' money locked up. Number 3, institutional share classes are sometimes available. That just means they're a lot cheaper. Broad index and bond options. Also, look to see if there's any with fiduciary advice. Because we've mentioned that in a broker-dealer, if they're offered through a broker-dealer, they don't give fiduciary advice. And that's critical. Mary, you don't know this, but Rich, I challenged Rich. I said, Rich, retirement plans don't give you advice. He said, yeah, they do. I said, no, they don't, Alan. If they're done by a broker-dealer, you will not get advice. Go ahead and call that 1-800 number. They don't give you advice. He said, yeah, they do. I said, okay, Rich, put up your phone number and tell me how many people call you, advisors or other companies who say I'm incorrect. Guess how many calls you got? None. So that being said, some structure. We got 47 minutes. I wish it was 47 minutes. I like to do a drive-by show. And I would love that. Is stacking. Contribute both to 403, 457. Contribute to the VRS pension. And how you can do this is you go review your service credit and your projected benefits on My VRS. It's a great place to go. But then here's another thing. We got 20 seconds. Retire at VRS. Go to another state. Work for that municipality. And retire with a pension there. I've had clients who have done it in Virginia. So folks, give me a call, 434-316-0246. Hope you have a blessed weekend. And give me a call.
Returns for illustrative purpose. This is not a suggestion to buy, sell, or use a platform. Only will a suggestion occur after a meeting to determine goals, risk tolerance, and time horizons. Investments involve risks and no guarantee of future results.